Welcome to SVG-TV News for Thursday, June 6, 2024. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. Capital Kingstown is expected to undergo changes to its design following a study to be carried out under the Urban Development Program. That was revealed yesterday by Minister responsible for Ports, Minerva Brown, as she addressed the SVG Ports second symposium.
The ministry, in collaboration with stakeholders, is currently in the process of finalizing the terms of reference for the urban regeneration study and master plan designs for Kingston, and will pursue urban revitalization within Kingston. The lands currently being occupied by the Port Authority in Kingston will become available for other development initiatives. We have heard the vision of the Prime Minister and the vision to expand.
The Minister outlined the developmental changes to be undertaken, which will add to the facelift in Kingstown.
The ministry is also pursuing improvements to Little Tokyo bus terminal as a component of revitalization, of urban revitalization. We are looking into street parking. We have executed works to clean up Kingston by preparing and providing improved market accommodation for street vendors. The process is an ongoing one as we balance the need for persons to pursue their entrepreneurial livelihood activities with the need to enhance the aesthetic and experience for all users of the city. And we also improve the gathering spaces through various initiatives, thus enhancing areas of zones of pause, socialization, and relaxation in Kingston.
Kingston was developed as a port city and is reportedly operating above its designed capacities. Minister Brown said the new port will serve to improve not only the lives of the people but also visitors, which will drive economic growth in SVG.
We therefore focus on a future where a modernized port would facilitate economic diversification, boost exports, attract investment while enhancing the access to goods and services to benefit our citizens. As it relates to connectivity and logistics, the anticipated smoother movement of goods is likely to promote tourism growth and support local industries. Building resilience and improve sustainability in the long term will ensure St. Vincent's and the Grenadines' long-term economic growth and stability, adaptation to a change in environmental conditions. A pathway for development, job creation, livelihood lies ahead.
The government is taking steps to protect the beaches on the south coast of mainland St. Vincent from further erosion. Acknowledging that some of the beaches in the area, including Indian Bay in his constituency, are being affected by the impacts of climate change, Minister of Finance Camilo Gonsalves said on the radio this week that they have been seeking assistance from Barbados to deal with the matter.
Indian Bay Beach is almost gone.
Yeah,
entirely.
Definitely.
And if you even at the best of times at low tide, there are places where if you lean your head against the wall, your feet in the water.
Definitely.
And not just your toes, you know, your ankles and your thighs and everything. The climate change is real. I used to play football on that beach. There was enough beach there for you to run a little.
Well, I can tell you I lived in Villa on the top of the hill in the 70s.
Yeah.
Back in the days of...
It was a real beach.
Yeah,
it was a real beach
so
there.
I was very young at the time.
If you want to talk about climate change,
7, 8,
if you want to talk about sea level rise, carry somebody down by Indian Bay and you will see the difference. Now, Indian Bay is one of the reasons why, not in the last budget in January, but the one before, I talked about creating a coastal defense unit that is almost like a Bragsa for the coast, where we will protect and repair the coastline. And we have spoken now to officials in Barbados who have been doing a lot of work protecting beaches and protecting coastlines. If you, next time you fly to Barbados, go on the left side of the plane and look out the window, and you will see coming off the coast of Barbados all these rock groins, all these fingers made out of rocks. They're not put down there by accident. They're put down there by coastal engineers and people who understand tides to protect beachfront. Because they know which way the tide is going. They know how to protect the beach. They create breakwaters to stop wave action. And we are mapping our south coast right now, not just Indian Bay, but also Villa Beach, to protect, because Villa Beach is also eroding very, very quickly as well.
Yeah, same thing is happening.
About where we have to put down coastal protection.
Minister Gonsalves said they are also in talks with the Dutch company Van Oord, which did the dredging of the sand off Argyle for the Modern Port project in capital Kingstown, to replenish some of the sand already gone from the beachfront at Indian Bay and along the south coast.
We want to just drop sand there for the sea to wash away again. So we also want to get the stone protection, the groins, built in the right locations, and importantly, identifying the source of the white sand where we're going to dredge from. Because we have a source of black sand, but we don't want to change Villa Beach and Indian Bay Beach into black sand beaches. We want to find a source of white sand. We've identified a source south of St. Vincent, moving towards the Grenadines. But we have to make sure, just like we made sure with the black sand, that dredging it doesn't cause unexpected or unintended environmental impacts. So we're a little ways away. We have to do this studying, we have to complete the studying of the tidal work, so we'll know where to put down the rocks and the groins, and we have to do the environmental impact study for the sand that we're going to dredge, to make sure that that sand, dredging the sand isn't going to affect sea life or vegetation or tides or anywhere else. But we're fairly hopeful that we'll get good results, like how we got good results with the black sand off Brighton. And then the plan is you construct the groins using this entity that I discussed in the last budget, this Coastal Protection Unit. Think of it like a Abraxa, but instead of a roads, you're dealing with the sea and the coastline. And then, having built those protection areas, we do some dredging and we replace the sand in those areas. So I can't say that it's going to happen this year, because I don't think it will happen this year.
It's a long process.
But
I hope.
But Indian Bay is almost all gone. And the only way to get it back at this point is to build the groins and to replenish the sand. Because if you wait for the sand to come back, even after you build the groins, you're going to be waiting for years. So we want to build the groins. Indian Bay is complicated, as you know, because you have the little islands off the coast, and you don't want to impact the beauty of what is Indian Bay. So they have to calculate whether or not you have to put a breakwater out in the sea or whatever. I don't know what they'll come up with. And then we replace the sand. So we're working on it, but I can't tell you today that we have the solution and we're going to do it. But the people who know about these things are working on it.
Georgetown, a community struck by natural disasters, is feeling the direct impact of climate change, and with intensified hurricanes and storms, one teacher is wishing that more people will build more hurricane-resilient homes. Delroy Teixeira, who attended one of the climate change mapping exercises in Georgetown, said that being a building and furniture technology teacher, he gets the opportunity to pass this knowledge on to his students.
We are thinking about, you hear people talk about building that will withstand hurricanes and so forth. We are hearing about building that are sustainable and so on. And then, of course, we get a lot of our lumber from trees. So it's about what do we do? While cutting trees, we have to think about planting back trees. And so in my subject area, every year I have to prepare students for the CSEC exam, and one of the topics they have to study is climate change and how it affects us.
Teixeira feels that education on climate change needs to be at the forefront if adaptation is to be achieved in SVG.
Sensitized on the topic, because some of what came out here this evening shows that our public, they are not well informed. Things like sea defense, river defense, showing stuff in the river, they ending up in the sea, and they affect our coral reef, the barriers, natural environment. So it's for us to take care of our environment, and then our environment, the nature will do the rest.
Meanwhile, Teixeira said teachers and students are feeling the impacts of climate change in the classrooms.
The heat, and it's the prolonged heat. We had it last year and we are having it this year, and we know that it's because of climate changing. I am a teacher, but I'm still affected you meet with students, you're in any room, in your home, you feel the effects of the heat, more fans, you use more AC these days. Everybody's complaining about the heat.
The National Emergency Management Organization, NEMO, in collaboration with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency Coordinating Unit, SVG-TV, this week hosted a multi-hazard public awareness week of activities in Union Island. A news release from NEMO says the week of activities commenced on Monday, June 3rd, with a meeting involving key stakeholders discussing existing and emerging emergency management and disaster risk reduction issues on the island. This also included a presentation from the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Meteorological Services on the 2024 hurricane season, the ongoing dry spell and implications for the health and well-being of residents. The meeting with key stakeholders on the island was followed by disaster risk reduction presentations to all schools on Tuesday the 4th and Wednesday the 5th June 2024, with a primary focus on geological hazards, the ongoing dry spell, the 2024 Atlantic hurricane season, and the National Tsunami Program. NEMO says as part of the activities, it also supported the Union Island District Disaster Committee to host a community meeting in Ashton on Tuesday the 4th June and in Clifton on Wednesday the 5th June 2024. The activities were expected to continue today, Thursday the 6th June, with a hurricane preparedness public awareness community drive through whistle stop and the community emergency response equipment training at NEMO's warehouse at Clifton. This event was to be followed by a visit to Palm Island to orient persons on the various components of the island's vulnerability and the emergency management structure that is in place. The day's activities were expected to end with a meeting to elect members to serve on the new executive of the Union Island District Disaster Committee. Tomorrow, Friday the 7th June 2024, the week's activities will come to an end with a meeting of the newly elected members of the Union Island District Committee and a visit to Petit St. Vincent and Carriacou to discuss emergency management procedures. The Union Island Multi-Hazard Public Awareness Week of Activities is funded by the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency, SVG-TV, Building the Resilience of the CARIFORUM States to Disaster Risk and Climate Change Impacts BRICS project financed by the European Union, the EDF. The week of activities also forms part of Activity 3, Project Strengthening the National Tsunami Early Warning System in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Prime Minister Dr. Rav Gonsalves has clarified that there is no medical health emergency currently in effect in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Recently at a news conference, President of the Public Service Union, Elroy Boucher, pointed out that the government never declared the COVID-19 state of emergency that was put in place over, claiming that some health workers are still being required to be vaccinated. At a news conference on Monday, Prime Minister Gonsalves was asked to clarify this matter, in which he noted vaccine requirement is no longer a factor as the medical emergency is no longer in effect.
I have heard that somebody said to me, and that one or two, on a sporadic basis, some senior official somewhere will say to somebody, well, you have to bring for them proof of a vaccination, a COVID vaccine card up to date. So I asked the CABSEC, who's the head of the public service, I say, is this happening? She said, no, not in any general way, but she understands too that there might be an odd person who may, I don't know who gave that odd person, that authority.
The Prime Minister said a decision has since been made to inform departmental heads of the government's position on the matter.
I advise her to write to everybody, heads of departments, permanent secretaries and the like, to tell them that that is not required, because we've gone past that long time.
The World Health Organization declared COVID-19 over 1 year ago. 2 years after the remains of 17-year-old Precious Williams were found in a blue bag on Morris Road, her murder remains under investigation. According to Assistant Commissioner of Police in charge of crime, Trevor Bailey, his officers continue to pursue leads as several people have been interviewed.
We're not sweeping the other side, but we're definitely giving this Precious Williams matter priority and a lot of attention. So we will not come out sometime and say, well, this is what we're doing, we have shade this tree. But a lot of trees are being shaken and roots started to come out of the ground.
But anyone have been arrested?
Taken into custody? Several persons have been interviewed by us. Let us say we have interviewed several persons and treated them as a suspect in Precious case, and I'm sure that there are others who will be hearing from us.
ACP Bailey said he is confident that the perpetrator or perpetrators will face the law for committing such a heinous crime.
Meet and we discuss crime. They are mentioned, and there's always, when we pursue the line of investigation, there's always something else to be done. And we are working all of the leads, all of the information that has come forward, we're still working. They're very much alive and well in our eyes. So the persons who perpetrated those crimes, if you think that you're able to sleep good last night, I'm saying to you this morning, tonight may not be as comfortable because we're not sleeping. We are very much pursuing this matter. Every breath in our body will pursue this matter.
In the meantime, ACP Bailey stated that other murder cases involving women are also being vigorously investigated, including the case of 17-year-old Kamisha Haynes, whose body was found over an embankment in Harmony Hall.
Yeah, that matter is still under investigation. The lines of inquiry or the information that we have received have not caused us to expand too wide, because the information is not that forthcoming, but we very much still have it on our agenda, and we're knocking on doors to see when a door is open where it will lead us. But the information in relation to that specific matter is not that fruitful at this stage.
The unveiling ceremony of the 7 contestants in this year's Miss SVG pageant will take place next Saturday, June 15, 2024 at 8 p.m. at the La View Boutique Hotel. The ceremony, which will be hosted by the Beauty Shows Committee of the Carnival Development Corporation, will also hear the announcement of the pageant's first title sponsor. The pageant, which carries the theme A Royal Dream, will be held on October 5, 2024. Chairperson of the Beauty Shows Committee, Avia Charles, said in the third year of her committee managing the pageant, they have seen significant interest, not only from prospective contestants, but also corporate St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Charles noted that this year the committee has been able to accomplish some major feats and has built partnerships which will be announced on the night of the unveiling. She also stated that they are excited about the significant progress and enthusiasm the contestants have shown. For the first time since its inception, the unveiling will be a ticketed event, which will also provide patrons with an opportunity to meet the contestants and secure an exclusive Miss SVG 2024 memorabilia. The ceremony will be hosted by Miss SVG 2022 Jada Ross and will hear speeches from Minister of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture, Carlos James, and the Chairman of the Carnival Development Committee, Ricardo Adams, Chairperson of the Beauty Shows Committee, Avia Charles, and Miss SVG 2023, Arena Foy.